Ever get caught just staring at, like, an everyday object,
Oh, yeah, totally.
and you're just like, "Huh, I wonder who thought of this? Like, who came up with this thing?"
Right. The things we take for granted.
Well, today we're going deep, deep into the world of Filipino inventions.
Ooh. Okay.
And I was so surprised to find out how many things we use all the time, every day, came from the Philippines.
You know, it makes sense when you think about it. The Philippines has always had a really strong culture of resourcefulness and creativity.
Right. They've had to be innovative to overcome all sorts of challenges. And that's led to some pretty incredible inventions, like we're talking life-saving devices, things that have changed entertainment all over the world, even the ink in that pen you're probably using right now.
Wait, really? The ink.
Oh yeah, we'll get to that. But first, are you ready to be amazed?
I think so. Hit me. What's first?
Okay, how about this? The salamander amphibious tricycle.
Ooh.
Salamander.
Okay, that name alone, I'm interested. Tell me more.
It's a tricycle that can go on land and in water.
Whoa, wait, seriously.
Okay.
So, like a boat car, but a tricycle. Like those, I've seen pictures of those Filipino jeepneys.
Yeah, exactly.
So this is like the water version?
It's both. It can transition from land to water. Like imagine you need to get somewhere and there's a flood.
Which happens a lot, right, in the Philippines?
All the time. The Philippines has over 7,000 islands.
Wow.
So yeah, flooding is a big problem. But with the salamander, you just keep on going. It's like something out of a movie.
That's wild. And it's a perfect example of how Filipino inventors are solving real-world problems. I mean, think about how many communities this could help.
Right. Talk about ingenuity.
Yeah.
And that's not all when it comes to transportation innovation. Have you heard of the e-jeepney?
The e-jeepney.
Yeah.
Is that like those colorful jeepneys, but electric?
You got it. It's a modern, eco-friendly take on those classic Filipino jeepneys.
Oh, those are so cool. I love seeing pictures of those. They're so vibrant and unique.
Right. They're a symbol of the Philippines, a real icon. So they took that and made it electric.
That's brilliant.
So it's familiar, but also futuristic.
I love that. Taking something traditional and making it sustainable, it's like the best of both worlds.
It really is. And it reminds me of another invention we found, the supercolon.
Super what now?
The supercolon, it's a type of stove, and it might not sound as exciting as a tricycle that goes in water, but
Hey, stoves are important.
they are. But this one is special. It was designed by Dr. Aloysius Al D. Gonzalez, and it's all about energy efficiency.
Okay, so how does it work?
Well, it uses less fuel and makes less smoke than a regular stove.
Which is huge, especially in areas where people rely on firewood or charcoal for cooking.
Exactly. And it's not just better for the environment, it's better for people's health too. Less smoke means cleaner air.
Wow, so simple but such a big impact.
Right. It's a great example of how innovation doesn't have to be complicated. Sometimes the simplest solutions are the most effective.
Totally agree.
Speaking of simple but effective, what if I told you the karaoke machine was a Filipino invention?
Wait, what? No way. Karaoke.
Yep,
Seriously.
I was surprised too. Yeah, Filipino inventor named Roberto del Rosario came up with it.
That's amazing. I mean, karaoke is everywhere. It's like a global phenomenon.
I know, right? And to think it all started with one guy's idea. He called it the sing-along system at first, but we all know it as karaoke now.
I wonder how many karaoke nights have happened because of him. Countless, probably.
Probably millions.
Talk about leaving a legacy. And speaking of legacies, we can't forget about Dr. Faye Del Mundo. She invented a life-saving device that has helped countless babies.
Oh, you mean the bamboo incubator?
That's the one.
I read that she was a pediatrician and was really concerned about the high mortality rate of premature babies, especially in rural areas.
And that's where her brilliant idea came in. She created an incubator out of bamboo, which is readily available in the Philippines.
It's so ingenious, right? It's low-tech, but so effective. And because it doesn't need electricity, it can be used anywhere.
It's a game changer, especially in areas where access to electricity is unreliable.
And her invention is still used today. It's amazing to think how something so simple can have such a lasting impact.
Speaking of simple things with a big impact, I bet you use fluorescent lamps all the time, right?
Well, yeah, who doesn't?
Did you know there's a Filipino connection there too? There's some debate about the exact role Agapito Flores played in the invention of the fluorescent lamp, but his story is definitely part of this whole world of Filipino innovation.
It just goes to show you never know where inspiration is going to come from or whose idea is going to change the world. Speaking of, do you have ketchup in your fridge?
Probably. Who doesn't have ketchup?
Well, did you know that banana ketchup was a Filipino invention? Maria Arosa, a food technologist, came up with it during World War II when there were food shortages.
Banana ketchup. Wait, that's a thing.
Oh yeah, it was a way to use bananas, which were plentiful, to make a tasty and nutritious condiment.
Huh. That's pretty resourceful.
It is, and it's still popular today. In the Philippines, they actually prefer it over tomato ketchup.
Wow. That's pretty amazing. It just shows how Filipinos can adapt and find creative solutions, even in difficult times. And it brings us to another everyday item with a Filipino twist. Have you ever thought about where pen ink comes from?
Honestly, no, not really.
Well, get this, the smooth, quick-drying ink, the Quink ink that we all know and love, was invented by a Filipino chemist named Francisco Cuisines.
Really? No way. I'm looking at my pen right now, and I never knew that.
It's crazy, right?
Think of all the things we've written with his ink. Letters, schoolwork, signatures on important documents.
It's incredible. It just shows you the impact Filipino inventors have had on our lives in ways we might not even realize.
Absolutely. And last but not least, we can't forget about one of the most iconic toys of all time, the yo-yo. Now, the yo-yo itself has been around for centuries, but it was a Filipino, Pedro Flores, who popularized the modern yo-yo back in the 1920s.
I always wondered where the yo-yo came from.
He took something old and made it new again, and the world went crazy for it. Yo-yos were everywhere,
That's a great story.
isn't it?
It's really inspiring to see all these amazing Filipino inventions.
I know. From land-to-water tricycles to life-saving incubators, karaoke machines to yo-yos, Filipino ingenuity has truly shaped our world.
And it makes you wonder, what other Filipino inventions are out there? What else have they come up with that we might not even know about?
Right. It makes me want to go out and find more of these stories. Maybe there's some future inventors listening right now, inspired by these amazing Filipinos who dared to create and innovate.
That would be amazing. The world needs more inventors and innovators, that's for sure.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive into Filipino innovation.
It's been a pleasure.
And who knows, maybe we'll be back with more stories of incredible Filipino inventions. You just never know what you'll discover when you start digging.
That's for sure.
Thanks for listening.